Let's look at the first question here. Which biomolecule is primarily responsible for catalyzing biochemical reaction in living cells? We have four options here. Option A is carbohydrate, B is lipid, C is protein, and D is nucleic acid. Which of these is correct? If you look critically among this series of answers, the correct one here is protein, C. And of course, I'll give you a brief explanation of why this is very correct. Let's look at it together. This is the reason why this is very, very correct. Protein acts as enzymes, which are biological catalysts that speed up chemical reaction without being consumed. But if you look at the next option, which is carbohydrate, carbohydrate cannot be correct because it only provides energy. And on the other hand, lipids store the energy and, of course, and form membranes. Now, the other option, which is nucleic acid, here only store genetic information. An enzyme itself lower activation energy, making metabolic reaction fast enough to sustain life. So each and every one of the answer here have a specific reason. I've explained each and every one of them. So to tell you that the correct answer in this option is C, which is protein. Let's look at the next question. Question number 2. Which cell organelle is known as the powerhouse of the cell? We have ribosome, we have mitochondria, we have nucleus, and Golgi apparatus. I want you to look through it and tell us exactly which you think is correct. If you look critically through this, the correct answer is going to be B, which is the mitochondrion. And why this is correct, let's look at this. This is the reason why this is correct. I would like you to look through this. First, the mitochondrion produces ATP through cellular respiration. The correct answer here is the B option, which is mitochondrion. Of course, the mitochondrion itself is responsible for producing ATP, which is, of course, energy for cellular respiration. The ATP itself is the energy currency of the cell. And if you look at it, the cell that require more energy, such as muscle cell, and contain many mitochondria, highlighting their role in energy production. Therefore, looking at this, the correct option is the mitochondrion, which is responsible for producing ATP, which is an energy source. Question number 3. DNA replication is described as semi-conservative because we have 4 options there. Why is it described as semi-conservative? Number 1, we have one strand is destroyed. Both strands are newly synthesized. Each new DNA molecule has one old and new strand. DNA is copied only during cell division. The correct option here is option C, which is each new DNA molecule has one old and one new strand, which is very correct. Let's look at the reason why this is very correct. Of course, when we talk about semi-conservative replication, it means each daughter DNA molecule retain one parental strand and synthesize one new strand or one new complementary strand. That is why it is the C option, where each of the DNA molecule must contain one old strand and one new strand. That's the reason why option C is correct. Let's look at the next question. Which phase of mitosis involves separation of sister chromatids? We have A, prophase, B, metaphase, C, anaphase, D, telophase. The correct option in this series of answers is C, which is anaphase. Now, I'll give you the reason why anaphase is the correct answer. Let's look at it together. During anaphase, centromeres split and sister chromatids are pulled to the opposite poles by spindle fibers. This ensures that each daughter cell receives identical genetic material. So in the process of anaphase, what happens is that during anaphase, centromere is tending to split. And when they split, they form two daughter chromatids and they are being pulled at the opposite end of the pole. This is why anaphase is the correct step, for which the phase of mitosis involves separation of the chromatids. When the chromatids are being separated, they are pulled to the opposite pole. Each pole receives one of the daughter chromatids. That is why option C, anaphase, is correct. Let's look at the next question. The Fluid-Mozak model describes the structure of, when we talk about the Fluid-Mozak model, what structure are we talking about? Is it the cell wall? Is it the nuclear membrane? Is it plasma membrane? Is it mitochondrial membrane? The correct option here is C, which is the plasma membrane. Anytime we talk about the plasma membrane, it is because it consists of phospholipid bilayer. This phospholipid bilayer embedded protein that move laterally. And of course, this flexibility allows transport, signaling, and cell recognition. That is why C is correct, the plasma membrane. Anytime we talk about the Fluid-Mozak model, it describes the structure of the plasma membrane, which of course contains of phospholipid bilayer, which is double, that is bilayer, and it embeds protein to itself that move laterally. That is why option C is the correct answer. Let's look at the next question. Which process converts glucose into pyruvate? Which process converts glucose into pyruvate? Option A, Krebs cycle. B, glycolysis. C, electron transport chain. And D, fermentation. The correct answer here is glycolysis. Why is it glycolysis? This is because glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm and breaks down glucose into pyruvate. It occurs in the cytoplasm. And when this occurs, what happens is there is the breakdown of glucose to form pyruvate, which of course, it helps to produce ATP and NADH. It does not require any oxygen, and it is the first step in cellular respiration. This is the correct choice. Let's proceed to the next question. Which nitrogenous base is found only in the RNA? Which nitrogenous base is found only in the RNA? A, adenine. B, guanine. C, thiamine. D, uracil, which is correct in this option. The correct option here is simply D, which is uracil. Reason being so is because RNA contains uracil instead of thiamine. And of course, these differences or these different help enzymes to distinguish between DNA and RNA during transcription and translation. In other words, uracil is what it contains. The nitrogenous base is found, which is found only in the RNA, is called the uracil. Why? So that it's going to make a quick and difference between DNA and RNA itself. Let's look at the next question. Which enzyme is responsible for transcription? Which enzyme is responsible for transcription? A, DNA ligase. B, RNA polymerase. C, DNA polymerase. D, restriction enzyme, which is correct. The correct answer here is the B option, which is RNA polymerase. Why is it RNA polymerase? Because RNA polymerase binds to DNA and synthesizes RNA using the DNA template. Of course, this is correct because the DNA polymerase, in contrast, is in use during DNA replication. Therefore, RNA polymerase bind to the DNA in order to synthesize RNA, which means that the enzyme which is responsible for transcription is therefore RNA polymerase. Why? Because it binds to the DNA to synthesize the RNA. Let's look at the next question. Photosynthesis mainly occur in which organelles? In which organelle does photosynthesis actually occur? A, mitochondria. B, chloroplast. C, ribosomes. D, vacuole. The correct answer here is chloroplast. This is because chloroplast contain chlorophyll, which is of course help in absorbing solar energy from the sun in order to manufacture or to convert carbon dioxide into water, that is converting carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. It is just the definition of photosynthesis here, which of course is the process whereby which green plants containing chlorophyll in chloroplast will absorb solar energy from the sun to manufacture their food, which is carbohydrate, by combining carbon dioxide and water with oxygen being given off as a byproduct. It is the definition of photosynthesis. This means that chloroplast is required because it is the structure which is responsible for absorbing solar energy, so that with the process of that is in the presence of sun or solar energy, there will be the production of glucose by the combination of carbon dioxide and water with oxygen being given off as a byproduct. So the correct answer here is B, which is chloroplast, required for photosynthesis to actually occur. So the correct answer is B, chloroplast. Let's look at the next question, question 10. Let's look at it. Which gas is released during photosynthesis? I've just explained in question 9. We have A, carbon dioxide, which is not correct. B, nitrogen, it is not correct. C, oxygen, it is excellently correct. And D, hydrogen. I've just explained in question 9 that the gas which is being released here is oxygen given off as a byproduct. If we look at the correct definition of photosynthesis, just as I've earlier stated, that it is the process whereby green plant containing chlorophyll in chloroplast, not only green plants, you can say green plant and algae, because some algae also contain chlorophyll. So we can say the process by which green plant or algae containing chlorophyll in the chloroplast, let's assume green plant, a process whereby green plant containing chlorophyll in chloroplast, we absorb solar energy from the sun. And of course, when solar energy has been absorbed, what happens is there will be the combination of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of this sunlight that has been absorbed by the chloroplast to produce its food known as carbohydrate or glucose, with oxygen given off as a byproduct. So the gas which is being released as a byproduct at the end of the photosynthetic process is oxygen, which is the gas. So the correct answer here is C, which is oxygen, and it is just what I've explained in question 9. And those of you who want to see even more questions, which will be updating regularly, then you want to make sure to go ahead to like and subscribe, and also enable the notification bell icon, so that anytime we release a new video, you'll be the very first to watch and learn new things from the updates. See you in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.